Blog Talk Radio.
Show tonight to interview our special guest, show highlight the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show, the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, boxing, tennis, golf, and racing. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Tune in for all the news and scores, reporting on the games and so much more. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. The Allen Alford Sports Talk Show.
Welcome, everybody, to another great episode of the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. Definitely glad that you guys could join us here tonight. And I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I think we should be right on line. Let me just get confirmation on that we're good to go. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me on both accords. And once I do that, we should be good to go. Let me just go ahead and double check that right now. Let me just make sure you can hear me. Give me one moment here. All right. Yeah, so this is what happens when you do live TV. Things happen. Believe me and you just never know what to expect. So yeah, so you guys can't hear me, so on the blog talk. Let me just start up the StreamYard right now. We're going to go live. So you're going to hear the intro music one more time. You get a chance to hear it twice. So here we go. Here on the StreamYard. So all right. So you get a chance to hear the song twice. I apologize about the technical difficulties, but we're here back online on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. We don't let technical difficulties stop us. It's live TV, it's technology, and it's fantastic when it works. But when you have those bumps in the road, you got to work past it. I've had things happen during interviews. I've had things happen before and after. You name it, it has happened. But I thank God that I'm here. I thank God that we're back online. We're live on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. In fact, feel free to call us at 516-418-5572, 516-418-5572. We are live, and we are ready here now on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. In fact, let me go ahead and thank our wonderful and great sponsor, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. So definitely feel free to visit Chef G's right here at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Definitely come on down, meet Chef G. And if you can't come down to Tampa, that's all right. Visit FLBBQSauce.com. Again, it's FLBBQSauce.com. You can't go wrong with this great sauce. definitely want to thank Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce for being our wonderful sponsor. And also, we want to thank Sam Scola. He's the musician and the artist for all the songs. Thank you, Sam Scola. He just came back from a vacation, and his wife, Mary. And Sam Scola's songs are available on YouTube and Spotify. And we're going to go ahead and get into a lot. And if you do want to reach out to Sam, thankfully, that's the email singalongwithsam@gmail.com. So we're going to play another Sam Scola song. The intro was Sam Scola. Now we're going to play the Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song right here on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. So this is the Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song right now.
Comes in for variety, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, Florida Gold Honey Mustard on burgers and ribs, tasty fusion on pork and sausage, a classic taste for chicken steak tips, a hot heat wave on meatballs and ham. It's a cookout treat. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, serve on fish and vegetables. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce.
You have to control the ego. Oh, man, I had the mute button on. Oh, my goodness. Man, everything is... Wow. So, yes, so definitely I was saying Russell Wilson found a home right there in Pittsburgh. The Steelers, he got signed, and I'm happy for him because now he gets a chance to resurrect his career a bit. It's been, last year was... definitely an improvement from the year before, but he didn't get a chance to kind of finish out the season. Yes, he was on the incline, but it kind of got derailed because the Denver basically pulled their plug on him, and more specifically, the coach decided that he just did not want him as his guy, and that was apparent. It's one of those things like in business, you find this in business where you'll go ahead and do your thing. Your supervisor is in a position that they have to make sure they look good to management. And if things do not go as well as management wants it to, here's a situation where somebody can put the blame on someone else. And that's what happened here in Denver. Now Russell gets a chance to play in a new system. I think this is going to be a very good fit for Russell. I think he's going to do actually pretty good in Pittsburgh. He doesn't have to worry about, one of the things about Pittsburgh is that they have a very good run game. Mike Tomlin's a very good coach. I think Russell will be very receptive to listen to what Mike Tomlin has to say. So I think that's going to be a very good thing. And the great thing about Pittsburgh is he doesn't have to go ahead and try to be the guy all the time. You understand? Yeah, they have very good fans there. They have very good running game. One of the things about them is they also have a very good line. So he doesn't have to go out and try to be the guy. And as long as he does that, I think it's going to be a great situation for him. And I think that's where I think Russell can learn from this. And I think the best thing that can happen to him is that he has a very great year next season. And then that propels him into getting another opportunity, maybe be in the playoffs, or if, we can't say if that will happen or not, but let's say he has a very, very good season and they don't make the playoffs, the great thing for him is I still think he has a lot left in the tank and he still might get another opportunity with either Pittsburgh or someplace else. He could kind of do like what we're going to talk about in a few moments, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield actually towards the end of his career, which I wouldn't say is the end of his career, but towards the back half of his career, things started to turn around and get brighter for him. So he signed a very, very lucrative deal with the Bucks, and I think the Bucks actually did the right thing. They got him. They made sure they locked up their guy at Mike Evans for another season. You don't want to start off with a new quarterback. I think they did the right thing by keeping Baker Mayfield. I said it on the show before that the Bucks do need to sign Baker, and they do need to sign Mike Evans. You know, if you do get Mike Evans, you almost have to get Baker, and they did. And they did that. So congratulations to the Bucks for those signings. In fact, let me go ahead and give the Bucks a round of applause for that. Yeah, so it's great that the Bucks went ahead and did that, got their guy. It should be a great thing for them, a great signing. And I think Baker Mayfield and the Bucks are going to do really well this year. I feel good about it. I feel like there's going to be some positive things that's going to happen. And another quarterback signing was Kirk Cousins. He went ahead and signed for the Atlanta Falcons, and he got I got to give Kirk Cousins a lot of credit, man. His agent is on point. You know, every time he signs a deal, he gets paid big time money, and you know you're doing something right when you got haters. You know, Cam Newton was taking digs at Kirk Cousins, saying, "Hey, how does this guy not win a playoff game, and yet he's getting fat checks?" You know what? You gotta just, you know what? Those comments, things like this, I think that's Cam's downfall right there. Right there. Sometimes in life, you just got to keep some of your criticisms or your opinions to yourself. You don't have to tell them publicly, especially when you are taking digs at someone who's playing the same position as you or used to play. That's when people are going to always kind of get the feeling that even if your criticism is justified, that you're just taking a dig because of jealousy or kind of like revenge or whatever it is. You're bitter, what have you. And that's how this is coming across. You know, it's coming across like, okay, you haven't played in the league for 2 years now. Here comes a guy, you know, Kirk Cousins. It was Brock Purdy before. You know, it's a trend. Brock Purdy before, now it's Kirk Cousins. You say you're not bitter and angry, and you're not jealous, but your actions are speaking and saying something totally different. You're saying you're not hating, but it's coming across like you're hating. Kirk Cousins, regardless of whether you feel as if he deserved that contract or not, the Falcons believe that he deserved that contract, and that's who matters. That's one of the things that Cam needs to address. Like, hey, I think I have talent, being Cam Newton. That's what he thinks, but nobody wants to give you a deal. So you, as Cam Newton, has to look at that and say, why am I not getting an opportunity? And players who I feel who are not as good as me are getting those opportunities. Those are the questions that you need to ask GMs and teams. Probe the market. Ask your agent, hey, can you just check around and see what do I have to do, or why is it that I'm not getting an opportunity? Somebody at some point might give you the answer to that question. And that's what you need to focus on. You don't need to focus on Brock Purdy. You don't need to focus on Kirk Cousins, because there's always going to be a guy that's going to get signed that in your mind, because you think you're up here and they're down here, that you feel as if you're better than. So this cycle can just repeat itself. The names might change, but the story stays the same. So instead of going through that vicious cycle, ask some questions. Ask your agent to probe. Hey, I understand that you're not interested in Cam Newton. Why are you not interested? And hear what they have to say. Hear what they have to say. They may not say it's talent. they might say, which I'm pretty sure they're going to say, it might be talent. It may not be talent. It might be leadership. It could be other things, distractions, whatever it is. At least you get an answer. It doesn't hurt to know these things. It's kind of like testing the market. See what their thought process is. And it doesn't mean that everything they're saying is valid, but it's the perception they have that you want to basically address. And that's what you need to do. You need to focus on yourself, not focus on other people getting fat contracts. Because you could make the same argument for Baker Mayfield, who just signed a big deal. You can make it for any tier, any quarterback in the NFL that you feel is not Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, anyone of Joe Burrow, any one of those top 3-4 quarterbacks in the league, you can make that argument for in your mind. But it's not your opinion that matters. It's what the other teams, the people who are interested in you, what do they think? What their opinion matters. And that's what you need to focus on. So, definitely props to Kirk Cousins because he got a great deal. And one of the things I got to say about Kirk Cousins that does resonate with a lot of players is he gets along with his teammates. His teammates love him. So that could be a reason why Kirk Cousins gets those big deals, big opportunities, and Cam Newton doesn't. You know what I'm saying? There's something there. And that's just by observation, I could tell. But outside of that, there was another big signing that happened. Saquon Barkley, he signed with the Eagles. So that's going to be a great opportunity for the Eagles. The Eagles actually are looking pretty good. They're actually making some very, very nice signings. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity for Saquon Barkley to, end up, not only is he in a great situation, I think he could be set up for the next couple of years because the Giants, historically speaking, they haven't, things, for whatever reason, when it comes to running backs, don't usually end up well when it comes to the Giants. I will say the Eagles have a better track history when it comes to that position. There's always exceptions to every rule, but overall, I just think Saquon is going to be in a better position with the Eagles at least for the next year or two. That's what my feeling is. So, props to Saquon Barkley. He gets to go ahead and kind of resurrect his career in a very good, very nice spot there. And King Henry signed with the Ravens. I think that's a great move on both sides. I love that because King Henry gets to play with Lamar Jackson. And, that's going to be a great 1-2 punch because you got kind of like a bruiser guy running and you got a scat guy. So it's hard for you to kind of prepare for both from a defensive standpoint, especially when they're playing at the same time. Usually you have to, okay, this guy's checking in. He's the bruiser back, which is hard, or here comes the scat back. But it's one at a time. You kind of have to do both when you got King Henry back there. So I really hope that things work out for him in Baltimore. It's great that they're picking up these pieces there in Baltimore. I do think one of the pieces that the Ravens need to get, they need to get a very, very good quality wide receiver that's not selfish. Because when you're playing for the Ravens, unfortunately, you have to, if you're a receiver, just based on the numbers, you statistically are going to take a hit. Reason being because you have, now you have King Henry back there. You have Lamar, who is a viable threat to run. So a lot of times it's not going to be just you running a route, you catching a pass. That's just the way it is, the way Baltimore runs their offense. With that in mind, if you're looking to win and sacrifice some of your personal stats, that's a great opportunity for you for a wide receiver. But I do think the Ravens need to pick up another wide receiver, unselfish wide receiver, I should say, which is not easy. But I think if they do that, they'll be in great shape. But yeah, that's a big move. A lot of movement in the NFL this week. A lot of great moves. And one big move that happened was that Aaron Donald, he went ahead and called it a career after 10 seasons. And that's it. You know, I find this move bittersweet. And let me say, first and foremost, Aaron Donald has, he's earned the right to, and anybody who's had a career in sports, athletics, has earned the right to let themselves make their decision when it's time to call it a career. I still feel as if Aaron, though, had at least another 2 years in him, maybe 3, of very, very solid production. Hey, Pro Bowl type numbers. I just think he's that much above a lot of the talent. And the reason why I think it's bittersweet, because I feel that anytime you kind of retire early, not just kind of like a year early, but I feel in his case, he's kind of early, where it's 2 or 3 years before he may have hung it up. I know he was thinking about it last season and yet season before. Usually in that type of situation is when you have, as the days, months, and I wouldn't even say years, I would just say first year is usually the worst, because you have regrets of the fact that, you feel as if you should be out there. When you start missing that first game and somebody else playing your position and you miss that adrenaline, I think that when you think about retirement, you should really think about, have I really got it all out of my system? And I just feel as if having 2 or 3 years still left on the table, you might have some regrets on that. And especially if the Rams do really well and they get a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. So it's possible, but I just feel as if, and this is where a conversation, which I'm going to talk more about the event I went to, that celebrity baseball event with Willie Horton that I went to last time. I'll talk more about that in a bit later. But one of the topics that came up was money. Unfortunately, when athletes do sign on a dotted line and they get their check, which, they deserve to get paid. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with working hard to get that fat check, that bag. I have no qualms about it. In fact, I'm an advocate for players getting their bag, their check. The only downfall to that is sometimes I feel when you get that bag, you lose motivation. That's one of the downsides with getting, it's not just a bag you get a huge bag. You lose motivation and that hunger to go out there and kind of compete and go after it year after year after year. Once you get that bag, you start thinking about, hey, man, I could be on a cruise. Hey, man, I could be on a jet. Hey, man, I could be in another city just chilling on Mai Tais. You start thinking about these things much more because you have the resources available to you. And that's one of the downfalls about getting that big bag. It kind of, if you're not mentally strong and you don't have that real desire to keep going, it'll make you cash out, so to speak, a lot quicker and a lot easier when you get that bag. And speaking of big bags, let's bring on our caller here. Let's do that right now. Hey, how you doing, Lou?
Okay, Alan, I guess you got a late start tonight. Luckily, I checked back in.
I'm sure glad you did, man. I did start on time, but I had some technical difficulties. Good old Blog Talk did his thing again. Yeah. Some of it was my fault, but some of it was Blog Talk's fault. So we'll take 50-50 on that one.
Good idea.
But yeah, I'm glad you paid off. How you been?
Okay.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
happening
in NFL.
Not just NFL, but also college basketball conference championship time as well. So my attention has been concentrating on that for the past 10 days now. We're having the Big East final, the Pac-12, ACC. It's all coming together now. In a little bit less than 48 hours, one who is going to the big dance and who is not.
Yeah, you got a great point there. which brings me to a question.
Yes.
Has your feeling changed about the UFL this far?
Have my feelings changed with the UFL? Let me see it this way. No.
So that's a resounding no. You think it's
Correct.
It's dead man walking.
Let's put it this way. I think by the time the end of the second, by the end of the half, they say, sorry, we great to inform you, but the league has been canceled.
I don't know if they'll do that. I think if the ticket sales aren't
mid-season.
See, the thing about it is like this, Lou. St. Louis drew really well, and some markets where they don't have other competition, they do really well there. And I think that's great, but I think the only bad thing with that is you're doing great there because there's not another market there. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, another thing that they would do better well with a big market than rather than a small market, because a small market is not going to do a good fan base.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I will definitely talk more about this topic later in the show, but I will say this much. I will just say, be candid and say this much. I do have more concerns about this coming up UFL season than I did about the XFL last year. I just have more concerns about it. I will be frank with that. And to the listening audience, I promise you guys I'll talk more about UFL later. But I will say I wouldn't totally disagree with you on the way you feel at this point. And I'll explain more about that a bit later in the show.
Right.
But I definitely do have more concerns about the UFL season than this coming up season than I did the XFL last year. I really do.
Well, what are my concerns?
Say again?
What do you mean by concerns?
I just feel as if this league does too much clout chasing. It's too much clout chasing, meaning you have to do more than just post on social media to get fan involvement. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, you can't just post up on social media, expect that to generate all your ticket sales. You gotta be out in the community. You gotta do some fan community events. You gotta advertise on the radio. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. Like, you gotta do more of that than just post it on social media, because one of the great things about social media is that it's available, but if somebody doesn't follow you, they're not going to see most of your posts.
No.
Yeah, so
you can't do, even this days with the marginality, you cannot do it on social media alone. You really can't.
Right.
Especially the way they are.
You really can't. I agree with you. You really can't. And I'm starting to get the impression that that's their marketing strategy. And it's great that you have great social media, but you need to do more than just that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I don't think you can survive in small market areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that they're doing great in St. Louis. Again, St. Louis lost the team, so they're like hungry. And San Antonio, they don't have a team there. Again, it's a very good fan base. They're hungry. But I don't know if you're going to make it just on those markets alone, where
no.
else is available. Because even at some point, somebody gets used to you, even if you are the only option, they'll just eventually, move on.
Well, don't forget, you got a lot of Cardinals fans over there too.
Yeah.
And Blues.
Yeah. So, but we'll discuss more about it. Anything that you think about now that baseball spring training is coming to an end, the season's about to start?
Yep.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, hopefully the Yankees will get their batting gear, as we got Juan Soto now on our side. So I think it's going to be a big addition to our side. I hope.
Yeah, I agree with you. And props to Joe Torre. Joe Torre was there today in camp, the Yankees camp in York too. So props to Joe Torre, staying connected to the Yankees. That's really cool,
Yeah. Still.
That's really cool. And things didn't end too great as far as his career with the Yankees.
No.
It actually ended pretty poorly, but for him to still have, very good communication with them and come by and support, I think that shows a lot about Joe Torre.
He did win 4 championships though with them.
Yeah, I mean, yep, that's awesome.
So you got to factor in that too.
Yeah, I know he did, but some people have won championships and are still real bitter about it.
I don't know why you would. I'd be bitter if I lost, but I know why you'd be bitter winning. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's just that people always kind of hold on to how things ended, and it didn't end as far as his baseball career. Great with the Yankees.
Okay, but still, I mean, 4 championships, 6 pennants, that's something to be, I think, rather proud of. Okay, yeah. So it didn't end the way you wanted to, but most of the time it really doesn't for anybody. But you can't take away from what's been done.
That's a great point, Lou. It usually a lot of times in life it doesn't end with that fairy tale ending like you do. Sometimes it does, but more often than not it doesn't.
No, I mean, and the Yankees, of course, all the time they had trouble with Steinbrenner and, Reggie and all that. So, the Bronx has been burning for a long time even before this. So, the Bronx is burning. You get the idea.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, there's always something
look at the Bulls. And despite the Bulls, when there were 6 championships, they weren't, the happy-go-lucky team that we thought they were.
No, you're absolutely right, Lou. That's a great point. That's an understatement. Based on what I'm hearing and seeing, I mean, there was a lot. I look at the Bulls as being chaos off the court, but just being a killing, winning machine on the court. They were like people who really, for the most part, 85% of them, 80 to 85% of them did not like each other. Some even hated each other. But when they were on the court, they wanted to win, and they did great together. They were,
how they didn't really like each other off the court. It's like, they put on a good disguise. Thinking, they were this happy-go-lucky team. Everybody was like, yeah, this is the Bulls team. They're a great team or anything. But off the court, like, do I really care? No.
Yeah, I mean, it was just.
I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of here and get away from all you. Good night.
Yeah, it's like, that's the best part about winning is that you're happy, I'm happy, you go your way, I go my way. It's crazy how it's crazy and sad at the same token that all these guys won all these championships together, and you could clearly see that almost a couple of them, almost none of them are happy.
I've heard sore losers before, but how often do you hear about sore winners?
Sore winners is right. I mean,
yeah.
You see some real petty, bitter guys. I mean, you talk about older, bitter, resentful type men. This is it. This takes the cake.
It just goes to show that what you see on the court, when it's a lot different when the cameras stop rolling and everybody goes home off the air like, oh, I'm glad it's over. Get lost. Ugh.
Exactly. You brought up a great point, Lou. It's almost like, when you are talking to a customer, right? And you might do great when you're talking to them, but as soon as they leave the store, you might have a total different feeling. And that's kind of like the Bulls.
I worked that kind of stuff in my younger days, and most of the time I didn't get along with any of them, and it just made me sick to my stomach.
But yeah, while you were clocked in, people couldn't tell, or they maybe knew, but they dealt with it.
Well, there were some customers though who really did like me. Like they always kind of like, and they was like, "Hello," like, "Oh, sure." I remember this one customer I had. I can give names here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I do remember this one customer always came into the store. Her name was Patty. One time she came with her husband, and she always gave me a smile or everything, even though she I wasn't really happy with what I was doing. But she always made like you felt like you belonged there. And she's like, good morning, Louie. Oh, hi, Patty. Hi. So there were some that do stand out.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't like what you did, there's always those certain customers that are like, you know what? At least they make an effort to make my day a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
Because some of them do not. I'm like, oh no, you again. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, they make that day even longer. But
yeah,
you're right. Props to all those the good customers. The cool ones. We've all had those. So they make the day a lot better. That's for sure. But
and one or two coworkers there, but everybody else.
Well, you see
right?
that even when you win in championships like the Bulls, it can be the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's like you're wearing a mask.
That's a great analogy. You're wearing a mask, and obviously they wore a mask really well on that court. They were simply the best team. They were just simple, and not only they had tough competition too. They weren't just a team where you had kind of like where you found lightning in a bottle where the rest of the league wasn't up to par to them. They had teams that were very good. I know the Jazz, when they beat the Jazz a second time to get that three-peat, that was just unbelievable because you felt.
Are you referring to Game 6 of the Game 6 of the NBA Finals?
Yep, and
of course, yes.
I mean, you felt as if the Jazz were going to be the team that was going to dethrone them. Especially they came so close the year before, and most of the team came back the second year.
With Stockton and Malone, yeah.
Yeah, you felt as if, you know what, it was a great run for the Bulls, but they knocked them off a second time. They knocked off the Knicks, who were doing everything they could. They would mark their calendars with the Bulls.
Favoritism. They wanted to give it to Jordan to give him a ring. It was favored.
No. The Bulls were the better team. It's like this. I hear what you're saying, but do I think that the league kind of didn't want the Bulls to win? No, I do think the league wanted the Bulls to win. But the Bulls did win. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the league couldn't hand it to them. The Bulls actually, it's not like the Knicks didn't have a chance. That ball rolled off the rim with Ewing. You understand? Like, it's like this. Patrick Ewing said it the best. The basketball god had other things in mind. And that's the best way to put it. Like, that's the best way to put it.
Okay, I'll give you that. However, there was one moment when the ball didn't go Jordan's way.
When we played the Pistons?
Game 5, I think it was in the conference rounds against Indiana, and the ball rimmed out.
Yeah, but they won that series too.
They did, but it didn't go the way.
That's when they did make it.
Yeah.
But I mean, for Michael Jordan and his teams never to go to a Game 7, that's just that stat is just unreal. As great as the team that he's never It's just, I mean, I can't take anything away from the Bulls. I feel as if
right.
They did their thing. As much as some of the personalities, I could see why they could have issues.
Yes.
When they were on the court, and I wanted the Knicks to win. I was one of the fans, like, come on, Knicks, do it. Yeah. It was very clear at the very end.
But we can't say the same for when to the Wizards, though. He didn't recapture that. He didn't recapture that magic.
True, but you know what? He was older at that point. He was older. I mean, he was older. He couldn't even dunk.
No.
He couldn't even dunk. So, you know what? That's Father Time, man. I thank God I made it to the age that I am, but I can tell you one thing for sure, Lou. It's not like it used to be. You know, it's like you get little subtle clues. So, some are obvious, but some are subtle. Like, man, I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do that.
Your body's trying to tell you something.
Body starts telling you. Like, I was out in the yard just moving a couple things, and I'm like, man, I'm huffing and puffing like as if I've worked out. I even said to myself, I need to get back into shape because I barely moved, and I feel like I'm sweating. You know, inside you're sweating, and you're like breathing heavy. Like, I need to get back to the gym, man. I need to start getting back to the gym. But your body does change, and
especially when you get to around my age.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not as young as I used to be either.
Yeah, those spring chicken, you know, like.
I'm not either.
It's a blessing, you know. I wouldn't have it any other way, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan couldn't at that point. He couldn't even dunk. I remember there was a couple times where guys fed him good alley oops. The old Jordan would have ate that up like it was no tomorrow, and he was like, "Hey man, I can't do that anymore." You know, like they gave like a beautiful alley oop.
And then they decide it's not that I don't want to be like Mike anymore. I can't be like Mike anymore because Mike is not like Mike anymore. Oh, that's pretty good.
But I know one guy who's not gonna let the age stop him. That's you. So in fact, what do you got cooking on Saturday's show?
Well, we are going to discuss the NFL new league year that began Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to do the whole thing because it might take forever. We'll do the college basketball conference championships that are going on right now, and we'll go through even through my show. That's a lot. Oh boy. Any leftover NHL trades that come up of waivers we'll cover. I'm sure there's a few left. NBA will cover spring training as we count down to the season opener, which begins on Thursday. Too bad it's overseas. Joe will be along with his NASCAR report. And also, Steve will have his WWE UFC reports as well. Diane with her trivia. The ridiculous story of the week, which we got a few of them. Sports trivia. This week in sports history. And the feel-good story of the week. And anything else I can come up with in a 2-hour show. So if you got time between 4 and 6 Saturday, that's Eastern time, by the way. Always keep that in mind. Number is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat it again, 512-543-4662. I don't know if we're going to repeat last week's success because last week was a doozy of a show, even though you weren't there. But if you might have trouble getting on any last week, Alan, because I had my second highest show in the show's history last Saturday.
Wow, and just go figure the 1 week I missed, man.
And you were tied the record.
That makes it feel even worse. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah. I didn't even expect that many calls to begin with.
That was my bad.
I did not expect that many calls to begin with anyway. I did not. I mean, it's 15 overall. I mean, because that's even high above my average. My average was about 10 or 11. So, you know.
Doing big things there. Sorry about that, Lou. I apologize. I had got caught up doing a project, and before I knew it, I was like, "Oh man!" And I turned on the internet, and I saw you like, "Hey, the show just ended," and I was like, "Oh!" And I even put a comment on there too. I'm so sorry about that.
I saw. But like I said, I didn't even expect that many calls to begin with.
See,
so
sometimes
I think I outdid myself.
Low expectations, and sometimes when you don't put expectations, great things happen.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's a lot of, and sometimes when you don't expect things in life, you don't come in with that expectation. You just go with the flow. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was.
That's the word of advice to all listeners. Hey, sometimes just go with the flow. Don't have any expectation in your mind, because if you do, a lot of times you'll have disappointments.
Right.
But if you look at it like I'm just going to go with the flow and you don't expect anything positive, you're grateful.
Yeah, and pleasantly surprised too.
Exactly. So That's awesome.
I'm just glad I got through to you guys. Got through tonight because I'm like, okay, it's 9:30. I said the show is not airing, so but then I tried again. I thought something had to be up because there are other shows up there. Like, okay, I'll try again.
See, persistence pays off, and I'm glad you did.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, because now that I try to make it accessible for the StreamYard, I got to make sure the StreamYard's doing well. Then I got to make sure the Blog Talk is doing well. And in that interim, the Blog Talk the sound wasn't coming through, and I had to kind of reboot it. And I'm glad you hung in there with me.
I don't do Blog Talk anymore.
Yeah, man. I it's one of those things. Old habits die hard. But you have people call in. What service do you have for people to call in?
The dial pad.
Dial pad. Okay.
Dial pad.
Dial
it works
pad.
Everywhere except in it works everywhere except in a hotel room.
Why not in the hotel room?
Well, the outlets there are weak.
You talking about internet?
Yeah, you get a very poor reception in hotel rooms with the internet.
Okay, so you need a strong internet connection, real strong.
Or a better room. Well.
Yeah. So you're right. There is a difference in internet connections, folks. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Research.
Contrary to what you believe in, there is always internet connection. Let's put it this way: I wasn't using an elevator either, or a bathroom.
Yeah, there is a difference, folks, in internet connection. You'll learn those things if you really research it. There's a difference between upstream and there's a difference between downloads, speed. They make a difference. Correct. So, check into that. But, yeah, they make a difference. And I think we might have a 2-for-1 special tonight.
Oh?
Let's bring it on. Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
She's here.
Yep. We have 2 legends in the house. There you go. Diane and Lou.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Good.
That's awesome. Yeah. So
the Sunny and Sheriff podcasting is now on. Oh no.
Yeah, so my question is for both of you, what do you think about Russell Wilson going to the Steelers?
Help. Because they could certainly use it. Yeah. Wilson's not on CST either, but if Pittsburgh's have any chance to be contending, for a playoff spot at least, I think, it's got to be Wilson.
Yeah, I think Wilson's going to do actually pretty good in Pittsburgh. I think Mike Tomlin, I think he'll be receptive to hear what Mike Tomlin has to say. I think they're going to actually get along pretty good.
Yeah,
he doesn't have
Tomlin.
The coach. I think he'll get along with the head coach, and the fan base there, will make sure he's held accountable. But I actually think and you know what? He signed for the league minimum. So for the Steelers, that's nothing but upside for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good move.
What is the league minimum again? I forgot.
I think it's just, which is a little over, I think, 1.2 million, something like that.
Not bad. More than hockey, that's for sure.
Yeah, so he signed for the league minimum. So if anything, it's more Pittsburgh. It's a great thing for them. But yeah, more than hockey. What was the league minimum for hockey?
$7.50. No. The cheapskate plan. No, $770,000 or thereabouts.
Okay. Yeah, I think football's better. You don't have to worry about somebody knocking your teeth out, hitting you with a stick. And that's a lot of workout too, running up and down with your skates on.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, this is awesome that I have both of you guys on the line, man. This is legendary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that when I had technical difficulties. See, when you don't have expectations, sometimes you get things work out even better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But definitely tomorrow is the big day between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. The phone number, folks, again, is 512-543-4662. 512-543-4662. I got to save on my phone.
You got the number because I already know the number. And the time and the day.
Remember, folks, she's been with you since the beginning.
4 and 6 p.m. And also the Enhanced Sports Show on YouTube. That's the awesome thing because go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube and type in the exact words, the enhancedsportsshow.com. Because if you don't do it exactly as it says, you're out of luck.
That's right. And subscribe to the channel because the great thing is when you go to YouTube, it'll remind you. And that sometimes works out for me with Lou to call between 4 and 6 p.m. I'll say, hey, I see Lou. I even usually chat. Hey, how you doing, Lou? And then I call in.
Yeah. And I'm happy to say that I'm getting more. I've gotten more subscribers listed. Now, I don't know who they are because they don't tell you who they are, but the number of subscribers has gone up.
There you go, folks.
And you can get other shows on YouTube, too, by subscribing to one show.
Right, but they don't tell you who the subscribers are.
Really? I subscribe to your show. I've been getting videos of the Just Us Sports Show, whatever that is.
That's another show right there, Bob. I can't say it here.
Is that Kevin's show?
It is.
And I've gotten videos of the DMV Sports Show, which is their soul show.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. So you guys are making, waves, and, that's what happens when you become a celebrity. People know you. A lot of people know you, and you don't know who they are.
Celebrity, but
that's how you know you're a celebrity is that people are like, hey, they act like they know you for years, and you unfortunately don't know who they are.
I have actually, Lou and I actually have known each other for years.
There you go.
Yeah. Before I even got into this business, Diane and I have known each other longer than that.
Wow.
Yeah, we know each other maybe like half of our lives.
Yes.
Man, you guys go way back.
We do.
Yes.
When I was a nobody.
Keep up the great work. That's awesome. You guys are fantastic. Yeah. I appreciate you guys.
Before I was a nobody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, definitely, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow for sure.
I appreciate that.
No problem. We're gonna go over your benchmark.
The benchmark was reached 2 weeks ago, but thanks.
Hey, you never know. See, I'm looking forward to it.
I hope so. I'm glad to hear that, Alan. All right, so we'll hear from you tomorrow.
You looking forward to it? Yep, definitely. Both of you guys.
Yep.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Have
Good
a
night.
wonderful evening. Talk to you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yep.
Take care to you both. Appreciate you.
You too, Alan.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. That's awesome. Lou, Diane, that's fantastic. Both of them calling in. Two legends right there. That's why you got to persevere, folks. Sometimes in life, things don't go as planned, but you can't let that stuff derail you. Started at 9:30, had some technical difficulties. The blog talk wasn't working. And the StreamYard was doing great, but the blog talk caused me to kind of shut down the StreamYard and kind of restart the show. Then I accidentally had the mute button on after doing all that. But I persevered, and you got two legends to come on. That's the moral story is don't stop. Keep pressing forward. Keep moving, And that's the mindset you have to have if you want to be successful in life. You can't let nuances, frustration, things like that consume you. You have to just fight through it, keep moving forward, because your blessing and your opportunity might be one more move ahead if you kind of let that roadblock get in your way and stop you. You might fall short of that blessing that was coming to you. that opportunity that was coming to you. And that's why you got to keep pressing forward, keep going forward. Don't let it stop you. You can look at it like this. The combination of all the no's is just like a raffle ticket. Eventually, your number may not be called, but eventually if you have that raffle ticket in there, your number is going to get called at some point if you keep putting it in a hat. So you got to be in it to win it, and that's how you got to persevere and do it. I see a lot of people who have a lot of talent, athletics, sports, but they just let the frustration get them down, boggle them down, and they get stuck on the frustration. Instead of focusing on the solution, they get stuck on the frustration of the problem. And when you're stuck on the frustration of the problem, you're not being solution oriented to find a solution. Rather than staying stuck in that mindset of frustration around you, hey, change your mindset. How can I solve this problem? How can I, maneuver to get this resolved? Be solution oriented. You'll be successful in life. Trust me. And, definitely I want to talk a bit about an incredible event I went to last night, and that was the 8th annual 360 Willie Horton Celebrity Bowling event. And it was an outstanding event, and it was my second year going to this event too. So back-to-back, just like in baseball, back-to-back years. You know what? Even at that event, things didn't go quite the way I wouldn't say I expected them to go, but there was a couple things that I'll tell you. First of all, it was an outstanding event. And Willie Horton, props to him. Props to all the attendees, the sponsors. It was a fantastic event. And I'm marking that on my calendar to make sure I go year after year. The coolest thing about this event, it was so many great things that happened, wonderful blessings, but it was really, really flattering and awe-inspiring that leading up until the event, Willie Horton reached out to me and he wanted to make sure, regardless of anything, that I showed up. And I just found that to be so humbling and such a great honor because, for him to take out of his time to make sure, because I was there, first year was last year, for him to reach out to me before the event to make sure I showed up was just outstanding. And, legend like Willie Horton to do that just means the world to me. But yeah, I went to the event. It was awesome. Willie Horton was in the house. There was, I'm not going to say the person's name, but there was a pretty big size celebrity that did show up there. And they kind of did one of those cameo appearances. They showed up, they talked to their boy for about 15 minutes and then snuck out the back door and left. And I'm like, what? And I didn't even know they left until about a half an hour later because they didn't just leave like out the exit. There was kind of like a bar, and then you could go from there to the exit. I didn't think they were just going to go inside the bar and then actually sneak out. But that's what happened. And the reason why that was kind of disappointing was because I was the designated photographer. I didn't even get a picture, not just with me and them. I didn't get a picture of them at all, proving that they were there. And I was a bit disappointed, but I didn't let it derail me. I didn't let it frustrate me. Was it disappointing? Yes, it was, And Willie Horton kind of made me the designated photographer, which I was honored because I had a professional camera. And we went around the room and I took pictures with all the attendees. But this particular person left so quickly that literally they were, by the time I was eating a hamburger, by the time I finished the hamburger, they had dipped out. And they were talking 15 minutes with one of their friends. And I didn't want to interrupt them anyway because they were talking to someone, but you would have felt like they would have hung around. The event was for 4 hours. No, they exit stage left and bounced. But I didn't let it derail me. Had a great time. Willie Horton was the reason why I was there. So anything other than that was icing on the cake. So I wasn't going to let that derail my night. Some people would have. I wasn't going to. I had to remember my focus. My focus was, hey, Willie Horton wanted me to be there. That was the main me being there. I mean, there's other reasons to be there, but that was definitely enough for me to be there, be present. I took pictures, and you guys could see all those pictures there on Facebook, Alan Alford, sportstalkshow.com. Your picture might be there. I took pictures. I put them all up. I told people in 24 or 48 hours, I had it up. The event ended last night. I had it up by, within 12 hours. I had it up by 11:30 this morning. So I definitely rolled it over and did it quick. And I was very proud of that. Even there was certain things that I had learned too. Like if you took a picture facing where the bowlers are, you had to kind of do the reverse. You had to kind of take the picture from the other side. Because if you took it from one side, the picture was too dark. If you took it from the other side, it was just right. So those are things I had to learn on the fly, and I did that. One of the things that I did learn about photography, folks, is if you're taking a picture with somebody or taking a picture of somebody and they're in the shadow or they're in a place where they're coming in dark, take the initiative to make the move so they could come in better. When I was kind of nervous to do that when I first started, just take the initiative and say, hey, you're coming in kind of dark or the shadows where you're at. Let's move our position. And sometimes you got to shift people to a position where they come in better. But this just tricks of the trade of photography. You learn those as it go. Outstanding event. Carl Everett was there. There was quite a few celebrities that came through. And it was just fun time bowling. And Willie Horton, got to give him his props, man, for doing that. And that's one of the things that I did learn from this event that I wanted to share with you was sometimes as an athlete, people don't tell you everything. When we were leaving the event, I was talking to Willie Horton outside the bowling alley for about a good 10, 15 minutes. And he was saying, he had, 22 operations, his eye socket, ball hit him in the eye. He had both his Achilles. He had shoulders. I mean, he had an extensive amount of surgeries, and that is the difference between when Willie Horton used to play and players now. Players now, they got a hangnail, they won't play. Willie Horton wasn't like that. He said he did whatever he could to make sure he stayed out of the training room. So if he had to put some ice on it, he had to, just live through the pain. He wanted to stay outside of being in that training room. And the reason why is because you go to the training room, typically when they report that, you're going to be out even longer. And his thing was staying out in the field. So that just shows you the passion and desire that Willie Horton has to play even underneath the most unideal situation, playing through pain, but he's still chugging along, doing his thing, after all those surgeries. So got to give him props. Thanks, Willie Horton. And speaking of baseball, want to say, my prayers and healing prayers, and definitely to Darryl Strawberry. It's for those who don't know, Darryl Strawberry unfortunately had a heart attack the day before his 62nd birthday, and luckily for him, God graced him again, and he was able to survive that and then celebrate his birthday the day after. And for those who don't know, also, Darryl Strawberry is supposed to get honored on June 1st from the Mets to have his number retired. So it just goes to show you that even with your birthday being the next day, even with your number being retired within 3 months later, nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. So make sure you live life accordingly. That was a big scare. I'm glad that he's doing a lot better. I love the fact that Darryl Strawberry and his wife, Tracy Strawberry, made that post today on social media. That was awesome to hear them speaking, but the family still shook, from obviously a traumatic experience of that. So definitely send prayers to the Strawberries for healing prayers. And man, I mean, that's just wow. I mean, you can't even make that stuff up. You have your birthday, the day before your birthday, you're in the hospital because God graced you to survive a heart attack. And the next day you're celebrating your birthday. 3 months later, your number's supposed to be retired, so a big ceremony. But rest in peace to my friend Alfonso Howard. I was the best man of his wedding, and he was a lot, I wouldn't say a lot. He was younger than Daryl. I believe he was 44 at the time, but he unfortunately had a heart attack and he did not survive. So prayers to my, great friend, Alfonso Howard, who did pass away. So it just goes to show you that when it's not your time, it's not your time. And God he makes the final decision on that. And thankfully, it was not Daryl Strawberry's time. And I just want to say that I am a man of my word. I told Daryl way back in January, I'm going to do my very best to cover the game. Come June 1st, I will be there. Whether I get the media credentials, I will still be in the house June 1st to be at that event of the Daryl Strawberry getting his number retired. So I am going through the proper channels of trying to get the media credentials to do it. Just pray for me that I get it. It's been let's just say a roller coaster ride, to put it nicely, to get media credentials, especially for Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball has been tough. Them and the NFL are about the same. I feel as if Major League Baseball is probably even tougher than the NFL, to be honest with you, because at least I'm covering baseball in some capacity. Football in some capacity. With the Major League Baseball, it's just tough. But we will, if it's meant to be, God's grace, I will be there. And if I don't get the media credentials, I will still be there. But it'd be really cool to have those media credentials to actually be on the field to do a fantastic job. And I know Darryl will be appreciative of it. I know Tracy Strawberry will be appreciative of it. But we will see how this plays itself out. Still working on that. And I'm going to discuss some UFL news. And I was kind of alluding this earlier. Let me just go ahead and let you guys know that. Then I'm going to be discussing UFL news. Okay. I don't know what the deal is with the UFL. Things have been very different. I will say this much from when I covered the league for the XFL. I know they're a merged league now, but the way they are operating, doing business, it is there. I would just say it nicely. I have some concerns. And I didn't have these concerns when it was the XFL, when they were making a restart. It just, I feel as if, as much as I want this league to be successful, the UFL, I just feel as if the league is being ran, let's just say, too much clout chasing. Too much clout chasing. Okay, let me give you an example. They made an announcement the other day. They did a press conference. They did made several social media posts that the June 16, they are going to have the championship game in St. Louis. I don't know if they knew this, but this was out about a month ago. I literally on this show talked about, and also my other show, the UFL Fan Den, that the game in June was going to be, the championship game was going to be in St. Louis. They made this big mega production about the game, them announcing the game was going to be in St. Louis. I'm like, I knew that a month ago. We talked about it on the show. Like, what? Like, really? Okay, stop with the clout chasing. Please, stop with the clout chasing. Your focus needs to be, you have 2 weeks until the season's going to start. That needs to be the focus. Hey, guys, get your tickets. We're about to kick the season off. Make sure you be there at the home opener. Make sure you come out and see the first game against the Arlington Renegades and the Birmingham Stallions. To make a press release and all this for the fact of something that I knew and most of the people who covered this league knew, that the championship game was going to be in St. Louis. Like, come on, really? You might want to also start returning emails. You're not the NFL. I talked about how hard it is to get in the NFL media credentials. Well, The NFL, they can do that. The NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business. Every single owner is a billionaire. Every single player is a million plus the average. Russell Wilson just signed a contract. Excuse me. For the league minimum, $1.2 million. You are going your first year into the league. Let's dial it down a bit. Let's not blow up the ego. Stop with the clout chasing. It is very obvious to me what is going on. It's frustrating because I want the league to do well. This is not how you do well. Clout chasing. Making press releases that are over extravagant of the news that was a month ago. I'm just being real. Like, come on, man. None of this happened when you had the XFL. You merged with the USFL, right? Not everybody was happy with that. So you have to connect with the fans. You have training camp. You have the season starting in, today's the 15th. The season starts in another 15 days. You need to focus on game one. The other thing that I have concerns with this league is the fact that it is starting so late. I looked at the baseball schedule, and opening day is March 28th. So you're competing with March Madness. You're competing with not spring training. You're competing with Major League Baseball kicking off. That weekend is it's not, the 30th is not opening day for Major League Baseball, the 28th. For the first game, but that weekend, baseball officially starts. So, yes, I do have some concerns, and you can't run a league just based on social media. And I didn't just say this. This is not just for me. This was my co-host who said on the UFL Fan Den about 3-4 weeks ago that he feels if the league is a social media league. And watching that press conference the other day, not the whole press conference, but seeing what it was about, I felt the same thing. Like, okay, stop the clout chasing. Stop it. Stop clout chasing. You're not the NFL. Another thing is this. If somebody's trying to promote the league, you need to go grab them and help them to go ahead and promote the league for you because they're doing it for free. Go ahead and return emails. Go ahead and respond to people who are interested in the league. Believe me and you, people are getting frustrated. There's a lack of professionalism with the UFL. I'm just going to be real with you. I'm a business professional. I've been in business for over 30 plus years in corporate America. I could tell you, I could see these things a mile away. Go ahead, humble yourself, and start being more professional. If you cannot do it, get other people in those positions to do it. That's what I'm going to say. It's getting very frustrating dealing with the UFL. I cannot express it anymore. One thing about me is I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it real with people. I'm going to be nice about it, but I'm not going to lie to people. That's the way it is. So, having said that, to the fans, I will still keep you up to date with the UFL news. I did put in a request to try to cover the first game of the season. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition. We will see. Again, this is what you're getting when you're dealing with the UFL. You get a lot of clout chasing, but you don't get people who answer your emails. I don't get it. Or they'll give you a press release of something that you knew a month ago. Like, come on, man. Okay, like June 16th. Another thing is this, there's rumblings that the league wants to expand and other markets or what have you. Let's see how season one goes. Don't put the cart before the wagon. See how the year goes. What has happened? Last year, the XFL lost over $40+ million. It's been reported that way. Okay? Let's see how year one goes. This year, I actually have more concerns than I did last year with the XFL because I love the fact, let me talk about the positives. I love the fact that the season started. Forget about the XFL, UFL, USFL league. I love the fact that the season started 2 weeks after the Super Bowl ended. So if you still had an itch for football, you didn't have to wait so long for you to get connected with another league. It was like, bam, 2 weeks later, starts, you're still hungry, you're still in it. But guess what? You have a month after now, March 30th, which means football starts, Major League Baseball, first game of the season, March 28th. So that weekend conflicts with somebody who's a baseball fan. And me, I am a baseball fan. So I just went to Willie Horton's celebrity event yesterday. I'm going to another baseball event next week. Ding, 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 ding. There's a conflict there. You didn't have these issues last year. So I did want to give props to Willie Horton again. I did want to give props to the Tampa Bay Baseball Museum. I'm looking forward to going and supporting their event next week. That's going to be an outstanding event. And I'm looking forward to it. It'll be the 3rd year in a row that I will be at that event. I'm looking forward to it as well. And that's one of the great things about the Allen Alfred Sports Talk show is that I do cover other sports. I did want to give my props to the AFL. AFL, for those who don't know, Arena Football League, next week, which is Tuesday, they said the 19th. Let me just double check the date here. Yes, so they are going to have you're going to be able to purchase tickets for the Arena Football League, the Louisiana Voodoos, and that's going to be awesome that you can go ahead and get involved on that. So make sure you tune into that. That will be next week that you can officially purchase the tickets. I know the people who've been real hungry, you'll be able to purchase tickets next week. And I will say this much. For people who don't want to answer my emails with the UFL, I have other options. But I do have a love and an affinity for the players. I cover the XFL. I don't want to kind of go in another direction just yet. But the way this league is being ran is making it hard on me. I'm just going to put it like that. But anyway, support the AFL. Having said that, because, you have next week, you can buy the tickets. It's going to be awesome. Arena football. And also, if you are a prospective player who, unfortunately, are not on the UFL at this point, consider reaching out to Coach James Shiver for the Louisiana Voodoos because the season's about to start and you might have an opportunity, if you talk to him, to get your foot in the door. And maybe that's a great option for you. Any opportunity can be created into a great opportunity. It's what you make of it. So look for that. The other UFL news is, Destroying made the roster. So he's going to be playing for San Antonio Brahmas. So that should be interesting to see. So in 15 days, the season starts. I am a man of my word. I put in the request for you guys to cover game 1. Let's see if the league does their part and I cover game 1. I've already made adjustments to my schedule to make that happen. And we will see. The time will tell. But I'll keep you up to date on more UFL news. I'm going to switch gears and talk a little bit of boxing now. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on a couple things. Mike Tyson definitely looks great against Jake Paul. If Jake Paul wants to win this fight, he's going to have to build up his stamina, and he's going to make sure that he just stays. He is a taller guy. He's going to have to kind of fight Mike Tyson from the outside. You cannot let Mike Tyson get on the inside of you. When I say inside, he'll do that duck under, getting close. You get hit by a couple of those uppercuts, it's going to be lights out. I don't care if you're Jake Paul and you're in great shape. You get hit by the uppercut, you're going down. So if I'm Jake Paul, I'm going to have to fight him from the outside. I cannot. If he gets in close, you have a couple of options. You can take a step back, or you can take a step forward and kind of hug him, smother him. Then let the ref separate you and repeat the process. Take a step back or hug him. I hate to say it like that, but you're going to have to just throw punches to keep him off of you. Keep him, arms width away from you. Because if you let him get inside, what I've seen of Mike Tyson in his training videos, he's still got the speed. He's still got the explosiveness. He's still got the strength. Yes, he's 57. The only thing I would say he probably going to lack a bit is his stamina. I would say round 8 and above. Let's say 7 maybe and above. But you want to keep him away. Mike Tyson needs to do that. He needs to lure Jake Paul in and catch him with a deadly uppercut combination. Mike Tyson punch out with that uppercut. That's what he needs to do, Mike Tyson, to win the fight. I think if I'm Mike Tyson, I'm going to try to knock him out because I just feel as if this fight goes to a decision, I think Jake Paul's going to get the decision. I just feel that way. If it goes to decision, folks, I'm saying it right now, March 15th, I have Jake Paul winning the fight. I just feel that that's the way it's going to go because it would mean more to Jake Paul to get a win than it would be for Mike Tyson to get a loss at this point because Mike Tyson gets a loss, 57 years old. He's not, fighting for a championship. He's not losing a championship. And Jake Paul, if he wins, he gets to say he beat Mike Tyson, even if it's in a decision, and then he can gather, some other big fights. I mean, not that his bankroll is huge as it is. It would just be mega huge going forward. So this fight means more to Jake Paul than it does to Mike Tyson. So I feel as if we know how boxing is. Usually they give it to the guy who's going to get the biggest reward for the win. I think if it goes to decision, I have Jake Paul winning the fight. I'm telling you that March 15th, where I think. So if you're Mike Tyson, you got to look to get him in a knockout. You cannot look to go to decision because even if you win round by round by round, I feel as if boxers would do what they do and rob Mike Tyson because Jake Paul is the young guy in the sport. And if he wins, keeping his record intact with another win against Mike Tyson, think about the bankroll that he's going to get for the next fight and a fight after and a fight after that. So Mike Tyson got to look to knock him out, point blank. And speaking of knockout, I'll give you my thoughts on Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. It ended pretty much like I said, guys. I told you that I didn't like this matchup for Francis Ngannou against AJ. I never liked it from day one. I thought it was going to be an entertaining fight, but you pretty much could see how this is going to end. You might be like, okay, well, he did good against Fury. Yes, he did good against Fury. I feel as if Francis Ngannou kind of got lightning in a bottle, and yes, I do think he won that fight, but Tyson Fury is a different boxer than AJ. They're two different fighters. Tyson's more of a technical fighter, and he kind of gets some punches on you, and then as time goes on, you wear down, and he hits you with a couple of big shots. That's not AJ. AJ has heavier hands. He's stronger than Tyson Fury. His hands are more lethal, especially if you let him get an overhand right on you unguarded. It's gonna, with bad intentions, you're going down. Usually, I don't see Tyson Fury throwing those type of punches, at least not like that. And it ended the way I thought. It ended in a knockout. Pretty bad knockout, I would say, for Francis Ngannou. But I told you guys it wasn't a good matchup for him. He was not going to win this fight. Luckily, he didn't get hurt, and Francis Ngannou got a fat payday, so props to him on both accords. He's an MMA fighter. This is his second pro fight, and I just didn't think it was going to be a good matchup for him. I know people wanted to see it. I know he did really good against Tyson Fury, and that's why it was so upsetting that he lost against Tyson Fury, which he did not. He won that fight because I don't feel as if when things line up for you in boxing and you have a great night, it got to end in a win, because if you have that same fighter 2, 3, 4 months down the road, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win. And I just felt Ngannou had his night. He didn't get the decision. Tyson Fury did. Now he goes ahead and fights AJ, who's a completely different boxer, much bigger. I wouldn't say much bigger. I would say Tyson Fury is still weight-wise and size-wise bigger, but AJ's got some heavy hands, and he's strong. He's strong like an ox. And he's going to throw that overhand right, which is not that easy to block, especially when you're not a pro boxer. You don't see it coming until it's too late. And that's what happened with Francis Ngannou. And he got put on his back. And that's pretty much what I expected. I didn't expect it to be in the second round. I thought it was going to be probably around the fourth or fifth round. But, yeah, I did think he was going to get knocked out. Francis Ngannou, not win the fight. I was surprised it went past 6. I didn't see it ending in 2. But, hey, that just goes to show you that, AJ, he's not a force to be reckoned with. And there was more pressure on, I would have to say, AJ than Francis Ngannou. I will bring you to all things boxing. I want to also give props to Seniesa Superbad Estrada. She's got a big fight coming up the 29th, March 29th. And if it wasn't for me committing to go to the UFL opening day, I would more than likely have been at this fight. But she has a chance to be undisputed, an undisputed champion, setting history, and I fully expect her to do it. She does have a tough competitor, though. It won't be an easy night for Seniesa. She needs to fight smart. She needs to not let her emotion get the best of her. If she fights smart and she keeps that left hand up, because she has a tendency to drop this left hand, leaving her susceptible for a counter, I feel as if she can win this fight and become undisputed. Again, it will not be an easy night for Seniesa Estrada, Superbad Estrada, who I've actually had the pleasure of interviewing here on the Alan Alfred Sportsbook Show. I feel as if she get that win. Praying she does. Wish her the best because, being undisputed, that's history making. So, and guess what? It's the month of March, Women's History Month. So it'd be really cool. She gets it towards the end of the month to close the month out. So, yes. And I definitely wanted to give props to you guys, who support the channel, support the Alan Alfred Sports Talk Show. I have a lot of great content coming up this coming up week. I don't want to spoil surprise, but keep connected to, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at Alan Alfred and Twitter at Alan Alfred. And definitely you want to be connected to the Alan Alfred Sports Talk Show on Facebook. There's a lot of great things that are coming up. So I don't want to spoil surprise for you guys on that. But definitely, I really enjoy and love this show. I love you guys and your support. It's been awesome. And we're going to play a Sam Scola song in just a moment here. Let me go ahead and give you his email, singalongwithsam at gmail.com. You can, all of the songs that are played are sang by Sam Scola out of Maine. Really appreciate Sam Scola there and his wife, Mary. So all of Sam Scola's songs are available on YouTube and Spotify. And if you definitely want to sign up, again, that's singalongwithsam at gmail.com. Speaking of Sam, man, he's really motivated to give you guys some great songs. Sometimes it gets overbearing. I'll just be real with you. Sometimes with the songs, when man gets back from vacation, he's thinking about me playing new songs. I'm like, didn't you just get back from vacation? Like, you didn't enjoy it, kick back and like reminisce about the good times? My man needs to get signed. So sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Make sure you sign him. And in fact, we're going to go ahead and play a song here by Sam Scola. That is the Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song. So definitely want to thank our great sponsor, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting. You may need a support group. So definitely check out Sam Scola and definitely check out Chef G's. I love me some Sam Scola, but sometimes, man, somebody need to sign that guy. You need to sign that guy. So Chef G's, make sure you guys check him out right here at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. If you can't come down to Tampa, make sure you get this great sauce at flbbqsauce.com, flbbqsauce.com. He also has some Florida sand and some rub too, so some great items you can see right there at that website at flbbqsauce.com. And let me go ahead and fire up the Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song. Let me go ahead and do that for you right now.
Comes in full variety, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Florida gold honey mustard on burgers and ribs, tasty fusion on pork and sausage, a classic taste for chicken steak tips, a hot heat wave on meatballs and ham. It's a cookout treat. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, serve on fish and vegetables. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce.
Make sure you get that great sauce at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Definitely check out Chef G's there. That's some great sauce there. So delicious and addicting. You may need support group. 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. Some outstanding sauce there. Make sure you guys support. We appreciate your support here on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. Yeah, so definitely that's another great song by Sam Scola. You know, Sam Scola and his wife, Mary. Sam Scola's songs are available on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure you go ahead and sign up right there. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. And I did want to let you guys know that more things are coming up on the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. But for now, I want to thank you. I want to appreciate you guys listening. Feel free to follow on all social media. So be blessed, be well, take care of yourself for now, and I'll see you again on the next show of the Allen Alfred Sports Talk Show. Take care, be blessed, be well, take care for now.